basic tense form. Okay. Whether the screen is visible to everyone? If yes, please let me know in the chat box. Okay, then let me start the class. So, what is a sentence? Yes, we have read parts of speech or the parts of a sentence, right? Then, what is a sentence? A sentence is a group of words that express a complete thought. So, a sentence is not a word, but a group of words which express a complete thought or a meaning. We should have some meaning, right? So, in any sentence, we have a subject and a verb, right? A subject. For example, look at the example which is visible on your screen. She is working. He is reading. The children are playing. They are singing. In each and every sentence, we see a subject, right? He, she, the children, they, all these are subject. And we have an auxiliary verb as well as a main verb, right? Is working, is reading, are playing, are singing. That means that each and every sentence has a subject as well as a verb. Correct? The four kinds of sentence. Yes, Rohit, what are four kinds of span? Rohit Hegde?
Mataji.
Huh. What are the four kinds of sentence?
Interrogative sentence, exclamatory sentence, assertive sentence,
And narrative sentence. Interrogative, exclamatory, assertive, and imperative. These four are the types of sentence. Now, these four types one by one. Okay. Rohit, you can mute now. Okay. So, declarative sentence or assertive sentence. What is a declarative sentence? A declarative sentence makes statement, right? A plain statement. For example, it is raining. Tom likes football. The school bell was ringing. Children are playing with the dog. These examples, they state something. They right? And we usually or a period at the of declarative. So what is an interrogative sentence? Interrogative sentence asks a question, right? For example, where are my keys? Why is the sky blue? Who is talking to the teacher? In these three sentences, the all the three sentence asks a question, right? Where, why, who, all these are question words. And the sentences are and mark. So usually interrogative sentence asks a question and ends with a question mark. It's C, right? Exclamatory sentence. An exclamatory sentence makes a very strong statement, yes, called an exclamation. Shows a strong such as surprise or anger. Look at these two examples. How beautiful she is. The silly boy, right? They are expressing some feeling or emotions of a surprise or of a shock or anger, right? How beautiful she is. a surprise or a happier tone. So usually an exclamatory sentence ends with a exclamatory mark. Okay? And last, we have an imperative sentence. An imperative sentence is nothing but which gives an order. For example, don't tell me lies. Please leave. Go to your room.
Ji,
See. Yes,
but
Vaidehi?
your breaking and screen is not seeing.
Okay. All of you are not able to see the screen.
Mataji, I'm able to see the screen.
Okay.
Mataji,
Uh,
I also can see.
okay. Some of you can see the screen. Some of you are not able to. So there may be some problem with the internet. Okay. I'll continue it slowly. Yes. I'll try to adjust my angle. Okay. So there may be some internet issue. Okay. So let me continue now. So an imperative sentence gives an order, right? So all these sentences given below are one or in the form of an order, right? That's why it is called an imperative sentence. Some imperative sentences ends with full stop and some ends with a exclamatory mark. Okay, so these four are the types of sentence which you are already familiar with, right? A declarative sentence, interrogative sentence, imperative sentence, and exclamatory sentence. Now, let us see sentence structure. Okay, so as all of you know, parts of speech. Now, let us discuss the structure of a sentence. Yes, so as I said, in a sentence, there is a subject, right? What is the subject then? A subject is is a sentence often does something to another person or thing. A subject usually does the action in a sentence, right? For example, I watch TV. Here, I is the subject. It is doing the action, right? So, the action done by a subject. Object. So, we have a object in a sentence. An object is a person or a thing that receives the action of the subject. Yes, look at the example given here. Dad is reading a book. Here, who is doing the action? Correct. Dad. Right? So that's why it is the subject in the sentence. Is reading. That is the action which dad is doing. That's why it is the verb. There is an auxiliary verb as well as a main verb. Right? And dad is reading what? A book. So a book, it's a thing which is receiving the action. That's why it is the object, right? So in a sentence, if you look at the sentence here, dad is reading a book. Here, dad is the subject. Is reading is the verb. A book is the object, right? So look at some more example. She reads a book. I am cooking dinner. You have broken my new toy. The dog licked my face. They visited the museum. In all these sentences, we can easily identify the subject, verb, and object. Right? So now, what is a subject, what is verb, and what is object is clearer to everyone. If it is clear, then let us move on with another thing which we usually observe in a sentence, right? Sometime, if you look at this example, Sumant gave Sanjay a present, right? Here, which is the subject, which is the object, and which is the verb? Can anybody tell me? Yes, Anagha. Anagha. In this example, Sumant gave Sanjay a present. Which is the subject here? Yes, Anagha.
Subject is Suman.
Correct. Verb?
Gave.
Correct. And the object is
Sanjay applied.
Sanjay. Okay. So here in this example, Anagha, we have two objects, right? Sumant is subject, as you said, and gave is the verb, which is very clear here, right? There is no auxiliary verb at all. Gave is the main verb. And Sumant gave what? He gave a present. That means a present is direct object and Sanjay is receiving the present, right? That's why Sanjay is the indirect object. Okay, so here we find both subject, verb, direct object, and indirect object. Look at these examples. Grandma is baking me a cake. Grandma is subject here. Is baking is the verb here, right? Is baking what? Grandma is baking a cake, right? Grandma is baking a cake. That's why a cake is the direct object. And for whom she is baking? Me, right? That's why me is the object. Look at the second example. A kind man showed us the way. Here, a kind man is the subject, showed is, and he showed the way, correct? Directly, he is showing the way. That's why it is the direct object. He showed the way to whom? To us. That's why us is the indirect object. I am writing my friend a letter. I am writing. What are you writing? A letter. That's why a letter is the direct object. To whom I am writing? To my friend. That's why my friend is the indirect object. Last one. She sent her cousin an email. She sent what? An email. That's why an email is the direct object. And who is receiving that email? Her cousin. That's why it is indirect object. Right, Pratik? Then, now, subject, verb, object, direct object, and as well as indirect object is clearer to everyone. Yes? So, this is the structure of a sentence. Now, let us see how to form sentences according to the tenses. Okay? So we have different tenses in English. What are the three basic tense? Likita, what are the three basic tense? Pratik Bhatt, what are the three main tenses in English? Correct, Chinmay Hegde.
Present, past,
Pratik Bhatt,
future.
correct. This is the basic main tenses, right? Again, in these three tenses, we have four subtenses, or we can say four aspects of tenses. That is simple, present tense, present continuous tense, perfect, simple, or present perfect tense, present perfect continuous tense. Similarly, we have in the past we have four tense. Again, in future we have other four tenses. Totally we have 12 tense form, right? We have 12 tense form. So today let us see or discuss present, simple present tense. Okay, simple present tense is one of the basic tenses which all of us have studied. Yes, we know how to write a sentence in simple present tense, how to construct it, but we are not very much familiar with the usage of simple present tense. That is, when to use simple present tense. So, this is the thing which we usually get confused, right? So, today let us learn the construction and the usage of simple present tense. Okay? In English, we have persons, right? First person, second person, and third person. Look at your screen. Simple present tense is written in different tenses as below, as it is given on your screen, right? So, first person, second person singular and plural, and third person plural. That is I, we, you, and this I, we, you, and they either am or are as an auxiliary verb, right? And we use the base form of the verb. And if it is third person singular, he, she, it, then we use the auxiliary verb is with it, and does, and base form of the verb we add s. For example, likes, correct? You are already familiar with this usage. For example, if you see the structure of simple present tense, if it is an assertive sentence, we usually write subject plus base verb. So you know, we write a verb in 4 different forms. That is base, past form of the verb, past participle form of the verb, and we also write ing form of the verb, right? That is called participle. So if it is simple present tense and we have to write an assertive sentence, then we normally write subject plus verb. Look at the example given here. I walk, we walk, they walk, you walk. Yes, but we write she walks, he walks, it walks. Correct? We have to add s to the base verb if we are writing in third person singular form. This is how we write a simple present sentence if it is an assertive sentence. How about sentence? How do we write a sentence in present tense and if it is a negative sentence? We write subject plus do not, does not plus base form of the verb. Look at the example given here. I do not walk. We do not walk. They do not walk. You do not walk. But if it is third person singular, then we use she does not walk. He does not walk. It does not walk. Students, remember we are discussing only simple present tense of the sentence. Okay? How about interrogative sentence? Interrogative sentence is nothing but asking question, right? How to frame or construct a sentence in simple present tense? We use do or does at the beginning. It either do or does. After that, we write the subject, then base form of the verb, and ends the sentence with a question mark. For example, do I walk? Do we walk? Do they walk? Do you walk? Here, first and second person, singular and plural, right? If it is third person singular, use does. Does he walk? Does she walk? Does it walk? If you observe, in the beginning we have added s to the base form of the verb. But if it is a question, then there is no need of adding s to the base verb. If you look at the last three sentences, you can observe there is no s added to the base form of the verb. We have simply written does he walk, does she walk, does it walk. Okay, so this is how we construct a sentence in simple present tense. Look at this list. Here you can finally observe the difference between assertive sentence, negative sentence, and interrogative sentence. Right? Tushar Hegde, can you read the first three lines in assertive, negative, and interrogative sentence?
Yes, Mataji. I walk, I do not walk, I walk. We walk, we do not walk, we walk. They walk, they do not walk, do they walk?
Right? So if it is first person and second and plural, we just use walk, walk, walk. That is main base form of the verb. Right? Look at the last three. In the assertive form, we used or we added s to the base verb walks, walks. Right? And if it is negative or interrogative, we do not add s. We simply write she does not walk, does she walk? He does not walk, does he walk? It does not walk, does it walk? If we want to add the WH type of word, or we want to write question using WH words, we can simply write what does he want, or why does he walk? Yes, how does he walk? How do you walk? Just add the WH word in the beginning. Okay? This is how we construct a sentence in simple present tense. Now, let us see when to use simple present tense. We do not use all kinds of sentence for all kind of situations, right? There are particular situation where we use simple present tense. Okay? So this is the four situation where we use simple present tense. First one, general truths, facts and permanent situation. Second one, repeated events and habits. Third one, series of events. Fourth one, action set by a timetable or schedule. Fifth one, stative verb. Okay, now let us discuss these five situations one by one. Okay, general truth, fact and permanent situation. So, general truth. ಸಾಮಾನ್ಯವಾಗಿ ನಾವು ಕಂಡುಕೊಂಡಂತಹ ಸತ್ಯಗಳು ಅಥವಾ ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಸತ್ಯವಾಗಿರುವಂತಹ ವಿಷಯಗಳು. ದೆನ್ ಪರ್ಮನೆಂಟ್ ಸಿಚುವೇಶನ್ ವಿಚ್ ಡಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಅಲ್ಟರ್ ಈವನ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಫ್ಯೂಚರ್. ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಸತ್ಯವಾಗಿರುವಂತಹ ವಿಷಯಗಳನ್ನ ಹೇಳಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ನಾವು ಸಿಂಪಲ್ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಬಳಸ್ತೀವಿ. ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್, ಸ್ಮೋಕಿಂಗ್ ಕಾಸಸ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ಸರ್. It is a truth, right? It is a fact. Do you agree with me? It is a fact. It is a general truth. Yes. Does it change in the future? ಭವಿಷ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಇದು ಬದಲಾಗುತ್ತಾ? No, right? So it remains same even in the future. It was true even in the past. That's why we write it in a simple present tense. Correct? Look at the second example. Water boils at 100 degrees Celsius. This is also a fact. It does not change in future. It was the same in the past. Correct? Then, Earth rotates around the sun. So it is also a fact or a permanent situation. Tomorrow, yesterday also, Earth was rotating around the sun. Today also the fact is same. Even in the future it remains the same. Correct? That's why if it is a truth or a fact or a permanent situation, we write it in the simple present tense. Look at the last example, sixth one. My brother lives in Bangalore, right? At present, he is there in Bangalore. Yesterday also, he was living in Bangalore. Tomorrow also, he will be there. So, this fact, this situation won't change even in the past, even at the present, and in future as well. That's why a situation or a fact or a truth which does not change, in that situation we have to write it in a simple present tense. Okay, so this is the first situation. Now look at the second situation, that is repeated events and habits. All of us have some habits, right? We practice some hobby which is true yesterday, which will remain same in the future, right? For example, she always comes to school by car. Always. The word always shows that 100% or every time without fail she comes to school by car. It is a repeated event, right? But this repeated event will not change even in the future. He never forgets to do his homework. So this habit is permanent. He never, not even a single percent. That's why all these repeated actions are written in simple present tense. Look at the habits. I get up at 6:30 in the morning. It is your habit, right? You get up at a particular time and they go to church on Sundays. So without fail, they visit the church on Sundays. And he doesn't study German on Monday. All these are either a repeated event or a habit. So when you are expressing your habit, you have to express it in a simple present tense sentence. You can say, I always come to school by bus. Yes, it is a repeated event. Every day it happens. But that event is repeated in a same manner. Correct? That's why we use it or we express it in a simple present tense sentence. Next, we also use simple present tense to give instruction, direction, or when we are saying the summary of a book or a film. Okay, so you might have observed in the class when a teacher requires a chalk piece or some other material, she gives instructions like go to the office room, bring two chalk pieces, and give that to me like this, right? It is an instruction, a direction, correct? So if you notice, all these direction or instruction are in simple present tense, correct? There is no ing or the past form of the verb. Look at the first example. They are giving here the direction. Yes, go straight on Main Street, turn left at the supermarket, turn right on the next corner. So, what is this? It is an instruction. Yes, how to reach a particular place. This instruction is given in simple present tense, right? If your friend asks you, where is the office room? Yes, or where a particular teacher sits. Yes, and how do you express it? You say, go downstairs, go straight towards the ninth class. Yes, take a left. There is an office. Inside that, take left, right. So you give instruction like this. So all these instructions are given in simple present tense. Okay. And one more thing, for example, if you are narrating a movie or a book which you have read or you have watched to your friend, how do you say it? Imagine you have watched a movie yesterday, okay, and you are narrating the whole story to your friend. You say that this happened, and you usually say it in a simple present tense sentence. Look at the example, second example. On a school trip, high school senior Peter Parker visits a Columbia University genetics lab and falls ill after returning home. So it is a story of a film, right? And the story is narrated in simple present tense only. Okay. And one more example, the last example. All of you watch games on TV, right? And if you have observed, while watching the game, you hear commentary, correct? There are some people who gives commentary of that game. It may be a cricket or a football match. Yes? Have you heard the commentary of a game? I hope all of you have heard it. Yes? So, look at the last example. It is a commentary of a football match, right? So, usually a commentator say like this: Ronaldo kicks off, Bruno passes to Bernardo, William cuts inside. Yes? Look at the words, verbs: go, turn, yes, visits, falls, kicks, cuts, passes. All these are in simple present tense only. Correct? So, while giving an instruction, direction, or a book or a film summary, we use simple present tense. Okay? Let's move on to the next situation where we use simple present tense. Actions set by a timetable or a schedule. So, there is already a timetable is being set. For example, the flight leaves at 8 o'clock. Now it's not 8 o'clock, now it's 12 o'clock, right? But the flight leaves at 8 o'clock. The timetable, the time of that departure is already been set, correct? That's why when the timetable is already being set, we use simple present tense. The movie starts at 4 p.m., correct? The time is already been set. The semester ends on October 16th this year. Joy's favorite TV show is on in an hour. In all these examples, we have written in simple present tense. But you may ask, how to identify it as it is written in simple present tense? The only way to identify whether the sentence is simple present or not by looking at the verbs. Look at the verbs here: leaves, starts, ends, is. So all the verbs are in base form, correct? When the verb is in base form, we can say that it is in simple present tense. Okay?